Hi, I'm Julie Poland and this is your video mini coaching for today. Today I'd like to talk about communication, personality, or process. In the workplace, you have a lot of processes to deal with internal folks, with customers, with suppliers. Is your communication with them a product of personality or is it a product of process? For instance, there are certain individuals who naturally like to engage with other people. They will typically tell other people more information than they need to know. They'll communicate the nice to know because that's how they like to operate. There are other people that tend to be a little bit more strategic about their communication or less extroverted, so they're not necessarily naturally, by temperament, in the mode where they're going to volunteer information. They will oftentimes be extremely responsive, but when asked, not in a volunteer fashion so much. The impact of personality versus process is that in your organization, you're probably better off if you do have a variety of personalities. If you have clones in your organization, everybody is all the same and likely just like you, you're going to be missing the same things and you're going to be seeing the same things. You have an advantage in having a diversity of personalities so that you have some people that notice the details, some people that notice the big picture. Same goes with communication. It's nice not to have all talking all the time. At the same time, your folks don't want to be operating like mushrooms either, piled in the dark under a pile of you-know-what. They need to know what needs to be done to get the job done. They need to know how they fit into the overall organization and its success. So, when you have diversity of personality, when you want to ensure that communication is happening, it's helpful to make sure that you have process established around that. That way, when you replace someone in a position or if someone gets promoted, you are ensured that the same things are going to happen even though a different person is operating in that function. Processes might be written, processes might be verbal and in person. Things like newsletters, both internal newsletters, customer newsletters, things like meetings, things like training and development. These are all communication processes. Whether you communicate predominantly by paper or electronically via email or memos, that's a process. When you communicate verbally, that may or may not be a process unless there's a structure around it. For example, one process that's oral communication is when a leader decides that they're going to meet regularly for one-on-ones with each member of their staff. That's process. If that staff person knows that once every 2 weeks from 8 to 10 a.m. on a Friday morning, they're meeting with their boss in their office, that's a process. That ensures that that meeting happens first time every time. It's been my experience that an awful lot of companies are relying on personality to get the communication done and don't have enough effective process wrapped around that. If they are doing communication, it's also often a challenge to determine where their communication is going. Some companies are very strong at communicating with their internal staff, not so good at communicating with customers, and vice versa. There are some organizations that have lots of information that goes out to their customers, but there's not a lot that goes on inside the company, or at least not across functional lines. That whole cross-functional peer-to-peer communication is another process that needs to be addressed to make sure that it happens. Because after all, your customers are not working with you down a functional channel. Your customers are working with you across functional lines. And there needs to be communication across there to help bridge the white space, if you will, that's between those channels. So, communication, personality, or process, it's awesome if you've got the personalities to do it. And those skills can be developed even if someone is not, quote-unquote, naturally a communicator. However, if you're leading a company and you want to make sure communication happens regularly, routinely, predictably, and effectively, you need to be looking at the processes, managing those processes just the way you manage other ones such as production, billing, sales, and the other key functions in your company. I'm Julie Poland. This was your video mini coaching for today. As always, it's my goal to help you unleash the capacity to create peace and prosperity in your work and in your life. Have a great day.